What's up, everybody? It's your favorite What-A Guy's favorite nerd, and today we are looking at the Fans Toys Gehry. I'm guessing they're Scrapper. This is on loan to me from Nick the Toy Guy himself, who I usually buy my Fans Toy stuff from, but I'm not buying the Constructicons from Fans Toys, because I'm not crazy about the way they look, honestly. But Nick, What-A Guy, hit me up and he was like, hey man, you want to take a look at my copy? And I was like, definitely. So he sent it straight away, and now here I am reviewing it for you. So please feel free to check out Nick the Toy Guy. I'll have a link to his store in my description, and I think you can still use the code BSF10 to get 10% off and free ship to get free shipping, I think. But anyway, let's talk about this guy, and in order to do so, let's first talk about accessories. So he comes with your mama has a peg leg with a kickstand accessory here, which is going to be the kickstand for Devastator, but you can basically just use this clip here and clip it on to the back there, and then you can adjust this to sort of, but nobody's going to do this, right? I mean, I'm nice enough that you can, but who would want to ever do that? This has got enough going on to begin with. Do you know what I mean? To start adding a whole bunch to it. Now, you can also store this in vehicle mode by having it in this configuration and lining up these two pegs. You know, if you so desire. I don't know. This is not the best addition to the entire unit. He comes with a gun. It's very nicely done, decent enough sculpt, and then it has the black onyx over top, paint-wise, no issues. And he'll hold it just fine in typical Masterpiece fashion with a peg that goes into the palm of the hand, and then you just wrap your fingers around it. And the gun can be stored by using that female and that male connection. You know, and roll around just fine. He comes with a, you got a horn, so why don't you blow it? It's a Prince reference for those not in the know. Anyway, it's metallic, like it's a die-cast piece, which does feel nice, and it's sculpted nicely. You got the buttons there or whatever, like... And then you got the peg here for his hand that you put through his hand and wrap into his palm and peg in, and he'll hold it just fine. All right, let's talk about the figure, and we'll get in tight on the head sculpt for Dennis. And I love it. I love the head sculpt. I think they nailed it. No issues here. The red metallic visor looks stunning. The silver paint looks great. The kind of metallic onyx looks good. It's on a hinge swivel. You can get up a fair bit, down a little bit, swivel. So, you know, kind of standard, but it works nicely. Shoulders. Really no sculpted detail, right? And that's what they're going for these days. So you get a universal joint that gets you out to 90 degrees. You get 360 around. Because of where it plugs in, you kind of get a reverse butterfly joint. So that's nice. Bicep swivel. Single hinged elbow, but well engineered so it can get you past 90 degrees. I dig that. Wrist swivel. Thumb on a ball peg that comes out to a secondary hinge. And then the fingers are individually articulated on a base pin knuckle and then a secondary pin as well. So that should get you everything your little heart desires for the hands. All right, so for the chest, we actually do get a little bit of sculpted detail, right? We get the kind of nuggets here on the top of the chest. We get the little bits down here. Very wide. Kind of feels like a little, I don't know, man, chunky, like a little chunky in the wrong ways type of vibe. So that's an aesthetic thing. That's, you know, your opinion may vary, but... That's my opinion. The metallic purple comes through. No waist swivel, really. You get a little bit, maybe a 5-degree turn this way, which I think is just unacceptable. Honestly. I mean, at the price of these things, not having a waist swivel to me is unacceptable. I treat Takara the exact same way, right? All right. Down here, we get the sculpted bits, the black and silver, which I do think are nice. It's not just paint, they're actually sculpted and painted. These hip skirts will get up and out of the way for your universal joints. That will swing down. a little hard to manipulate, but you can get out to the side fully. We'll back out a little bit. And then you just rotate around, push it back, and then you can get forward 90 degrees as well. And back to there, which is limited, but probably you'd need a whole lot of that anyway. Thigh swivel around the universal, so no issues there. And we do get some sculpted detail in the leg, which is nice. I'll take it where I can get it. And then we get a knee bend. You get 90 degrees on a good-looking single hinge. They get the pistons and stuff added in there, which is nice enough. And then big, blocky, plain, basic lower legs, which is just a bummer to me. I don't know, like, for you guys that are super toon aesthetic people, if they put, like, details and stuff in here, like in the inside of the leg where they have these nuggets sticking out, would that bother you? I don't know. I hope not, but maybe it would. What do I know about y'all? Anyway, then we have ankles. You get an ankle tilt down, you get an ankle tilt up, and you get a rocker. It's all done at basically the toe, but I think we should give them credit. Hope you saw that. Hope it was in frame. I'm not sure it was. Okay. Lastly, let's have a look at all of that and all that jazz. Oh, man. Not my favorite, dude. You know, tons and tons and tons of stuff. And none of it looking necessarily great to me. I'm not sure if you feel differently, but oof, not my fave. Not my fave. I think that this, I hope it pays out in combiner mode for those that want this guy as a combiner, but I think this is a very sacrificial mode. And actually, I don't think the alt mode's much better, to be honest, but I'm hoping that the goal here is for them to have a combiner mode for you guys that are getting this, because I think they're just a step short here, oddly. You know, I don't often think that about them aesthetically in terms of their bots, but this guy doesn't do it for me necessarily. There's some things I like about it: the elbows, the knees, the color. I think the color palette and paint is great, but you know, no waist articulation. All this stuff on his back, I don't know. The super bit, like, this stuff drives me absolutely nuts. It's just, I get it, but not for me. I feel like the hips sit out a little bit. I just don't like the proportions, I think, in general. It just has a little, like, almost childlike proportions. Size comparison wise, there he is next to the Toy World. Now, I always had issues with the Toy World bots. I had them in my personal collection, but they were always meant to be kind of placeholders. But you can definitely see, like, the Fans Toys is far more indicative of the character than the Toy World ever was. That being said, I still plan on keeping my Toy World Devastator because I just prefer it aesthetically. Lots of time has passed between these two. Do you know what I mean? And it's obvious in the way the game has changed. There he is next to a Fans Toy Stunticon. Just to give you an idea, these guys are big. They're a whole head length bigger than the rest of the kind of combiner bots. And I'm not sure how I feel about that. It wouldn't necessarily impact me because I have my kind of teams on separate shelves. But if you were to have these guys in a mix, I don't know how I feel about that. I don't know how I feel. I mean, I would guess the Combaticons are going to be somewhat similar to the Stunticons. So either the Stunticons are going to be really short or the Constructicons are going to be really big. And either way, I'm not crazy about that. There he is next to Long Haul from X-Transbots. So there's things I like about the X-Transbots a lot better here. I like the proportions better, and I think it looks a little less childish, like a little less like roadblocksy. What were those big blocks? Duplo blocks? A little less Duplo boxy. But, you know, similar size, though, between the two, so that needs to be taken note of. So I'm not even sure if I really put it together, and it may be just because of how broad, how, like, wide the scrapper is. But yeah, I mean, the Constructicons are significantly taller than the Stunticons, and I have that in my collection. I didn't even realize it, so perhaps it's just on brand. But yeah, there's just I like the slenderness a little bit more. I just like a lot of the proportions a bit better on the X-Transbots. But, you know, we haven't seen an X-Transbot scrapper in hand either, so who knows how that makes me feel. The way you're making me feel. Let's get him transformed. So, make sure you got your hand in a fist. Open up this panel here. It opens out to the side. And then tuck the hand in, rotate that panel back, spin the bicep 180, and then you have to, this little thing here, it locks it in place. This is unlocked. It comes unlocked. You can lock it. You don't really need it. It doesn't really do anything, like, because the kind of the tolerances and fit is good enough. I mean, I guess it's nice enough that it had it, but it doesn't need it. All right, and then roll this out so that this kind of armature here is completely exposed, okay? So we're gonna do this on this side as well. We're gonna open up this panel. Actually, you can untab these shoulders too, like we showed you with the reverse butterfly joint. Same here. Tuck the hand in. Oh. And close this. Spin. And make sure you're unlocked here. Spin this out. And you want to make sure that the whole armature is free. So it's tabbed in 2 places. You want to make sure that the whole armature is free. Untab the shoulder joint. Fillet a fish. Pull his head up and pull the chest out. Tuck the head in. Actually, there. And then close the chest back in. And then we have this piece here. So bring this up. Bring this up. Actually, bring this down, this piece here. These pieces slide clear. They got to clear this and come forward. And let me raise up my camera a little bit. We got a little bit of work to do here. So expand your shovel, and these hinges need to flip direction. So this double hinge here needs to sit on the outside. And then unfold this middle piece in here. Fold that out. You can there's a couple different configurations you can do here. And let's see. Where is my tab? There we go. Just line this up. There's a little tab on this side. All right. And then, let's see if I need a spudger here. There's 2 plates here. One. Oh. This 2. We'll fold these pieces back in. And then this opens up. And tabs into the sides, and then we pretty much got a working shovel. And like I said, there's different configurations for this. We're just going to pick one and go with it. All right, now you can take this whole piece and lift it up and out. Well, not that square section there, but you know, just to extend this the most you can. I don't know why. I feel like, did that go forward? I think that's just for, there it is. Why am I 8 up here? There, this piece has to slide out all the way. Then you have this full, and we'll work on that later. But I did forget one of the little pieces here to make these teeth. Okay, then this sits forward, this sits up, and we got to get these wheels out. So this little like hood has to come down and around for you to bring this piece up and then over. This rotates all the way to the opposite side. This piece comes up clips in to the underside, and then the wheel pushes into these two connections there on the chest. All right, so same on the other side. Lift it up, swing it around, bring this piece up, that'll hook in, and then this will plug in. All right, now we need to get the arms in place. So you got this piece here that kind of causes you some grief, and you've got two hinges on the shoulder, here and there, and you want to utilize the bottom hinge, get that into place, and then it'll peg in at the shoulder and at the kind of bicep. So same thing. We're gonna clear that, peg in at the shoulder, peg in at the bicep. Real quick, I'm almost finished now. We're jumping ahead a little bit, but I realized you got to have these elbows bent at 90 degrees. I didn't have them bent, so then it caused me a pretty significant issue. So you get them in and then clear that bottom section, and then everything else is the same. You know, you just got to have those elbows bent at 90 degrees, and I just missed it. Everything else, directions-wise, is the same. And then that will tab in, and then you can sit this down in front of it. And I don't have this one quite right yet either. But that's what you're looking for right here. And I just missed it. So don't make my mistake. Get there before you get all this done. Now, we'll continue with your regularly scheduled program. And then we have our leg. So push the thigh in. And then bring the heel down. Toe down. Toe out. Toe up. And then this piece wraps around to the back. All right, let's do that. Let's do it on both sides. So we're gonna slide the thigh in, and we're gonna slide the heel up, toe down, toe out, toe up, heel up. Tight little joint there, by the way. Move accordingly. All right, and then we're just going to open it up, so to speak. So this piece has to open. Like you saw, it kind of moves this panel open. The wheel has to swing down. And this panel opens up. So let's do that on this side too. This panel opens up. That'll open this panel up. Rotate the wheel down. Rotate this up. Rotate this down. I think that's it. Before we get to the final step, let me see if I missed anything. All right, I think we're good. So we're gonna rotate on the knee. You're rotating here at the base, the furthest down. And then just do what you gotta do. Wrap this around. Bring this wheel, bring this in. This kind of has to come up. Make sure you get this piece in. There we go. There we go. And I got my wheel turn around, but that is to go down towards the bottom, obviously. And then we have this one. So same thing. Rotate it at that lower joint. Make sure we clear everything. Bring it in. Bring this up. Bring this out. Make sure that this is all lined up. And then tab these together. And then the last thing that you have to do is just move these two pieces around. I've got my elbows fixed now. That's when I had to do that extra cut in. And they grab around this silver piece and plug into the side of the thigh. And then just make your adjustments. I'll clean it up. We'll take a look at it. And there it is. Rolls like a champ. And I'll show it to you next to Tiger Tracks here. So, large unit for sure. But I think they missed the mark here, man. The paint looks good. The wheels look good. Rubber tires. I like the little jagged bits there. Like I said, you can flip this out and have different looks to it. But it's a front end loader, I think. I don't know. What am I? Bob the Builder. I just don't know. Like, this part back here seems finished. But this part up here, it just, and it looked that way from the pictures that we've seen initially. Like, it looks that way now. It looks unfinished. It looks like they didn't exactly know what to do. Like, this looks like the back of a vehicle. And this looks like parts tossed on top of the back of the vehicle to make it look somewhat like a front end loader. And this looks like a front end loader, right? Like, that looks right. And that looks right. But it's like if I were to do this and say, ta-da, you know, I think that you would be like, whoa, you didn't finish this part. You know, you got to leave this part back in the oven a little bit. You know what I mean? I'm just not sure that it's entirely successful in that regard. All right, let's go to combine mode. So untab these side pieces, the forearms. All right, and move your hip skirts so that you can get access to this. Untab these two pieces. You gotta untab some of this stuff. Open this up. Open this up. Bring this piece back to the opposite side and collapse it against the, oh no, I forgot the bumper. And alt mode, just flip the bumper piece up. It doesn't really make or break anything. The back is the fine part. Sit that flush up against it. And then you just got to get this wheel in, so just move it so that you can. And then close this back up. We're going to do the same thing on this side. We're going to pretend our bumper was up. And then we're going to open all of this. So open this flap, open this flap, open this flap. This goes against the back. Take your wheel, untab it, rotate it, flip it in. Maybe I didn't give myself enough room there. Flip it in. Bring all this back together, tab this, and tab that. Now we got to get these arms out. So just start untabbing. Move them out to the side. Be mindful of that middle piece. Let me get a spudger in there. Untab. Move it out to the side. And then we got to untab our wheels here. Rotate. Untab them from underneath. as well. There we go. Rotate them down. Rotate this back around. And there's a piece underneath here that we got to flip out. There we go. And this armature needs to come in. And they both kind of need to come together, so to speak. So untab this one, untab that, roll forward. And then these sit down inside. Now that one piece that I was messing with before, that rectangle piece, needs to come out. And then that piece sits in. And then this piece comes down and tabs in. Just get that out of the way. And then this piece needs to come back up, lock in place, but that needs to sit down to cover up the wheels. Whew, there you go. We need to collapse these arms back. And it's a little tricky because there's not a lot of space to work there. And then this comes back around into place. Make sure that you clear there. Then you can slide your lock down if you'd like. We're going to rotate the shoulder up, but we're going to utilize the second pin, and we're going to make sure that this is out. All right, so same on this side. We're going to swing this in. And then we're going to swing this in. Lock it. And make sure the tab is facing outward. Use this hinge. So we got something that looks like that. This next step is all about preparing for securement. So flip out these pieces here on the shoulders. And break the connection with the scoop on both sides there. You've got to have this all lined up so right, man. So you had this T joint here and these two circles. You need the T to go there and the two circles to go around that peg. So let's try to get that first. Scoop between. All right. Then the scoop comes up and over and grabs a hold of those two pieces that we flipped down from the shoulder. And then you have these pegs underneath that secure into the cross members there. I've lost a bit of that somehow. I'll clean it up. And then lastly, you have these armatures here that need to secure into the side where we opened up the shovel, and then come up and over and tab in, and then finish off the look of the shovel. And that's basically it. I will clean it up and take a look at it. So look, that's what they did it for. It's obvious to me that this was the goal. Devastator is the goal. Because this is well done. This is really solid. And the other modes are not as well done. Let me show it to you next to Tiger Tracks. You know, it's going to be a big boy. No doubt about it. Final thoughts wise, let's start with the negatives, and there is plenty to go around. Subjectively, I am not crazy about the overall blockiness and chunkiness of him. It seems, like I said, Duplo blocky is the best way I know how to describe it. It doesn't feel like your typical Fans Toys proportions and aesthetic choices. It feels more childish. In some ways, and I mean this just proportionately, in some ways, more similar to some of the choices Hasbro's been making recently than Fans Toys. No waist swivel, it's completely unacceptable. Once again, you're incapable of doing things that $20 things are capable of doing. And then I, for one, could go for a little bit more sculpted detail in the legs. I think it would help with the Duplo blocky look also. And then I think there's an awful lot that's sort of left on his back unaccounted for in robot mode. It just, I don't know. I don't know if they rushed this one or not. It doesn't seem like it has the kind of normal finesse that Fans Toys has been having as of late. And then, I mean, of course, the alt mode is a complete train wreck, right? You know, like, it's not good by any stretch of the imagination. It kind of has the back part done. It's even more done when you flip the bumper up, right? And then it has the kind of front end loader bit that looks good. And then there's the whole, you know, other third of it that just looks like a complete mess. Completely unfinished. Moving on to the positives, it's painted head to toe. It has that typical Fans Toys feel and heft, so all that is great. I love the color choices. The green and the purple really pop. A lot of their kind of early images did not suggest as such. I love some of the new things we've seen them do with this. Sculpted details inside of the knee, the elegance of the knee joints, a single hinged elbow, which is true to form for them, but with a deeper range. I like all that as well. I like stuff like the hip skirts being sculpted and painted as opposed to just striped. Stuff like that works for me. I think it has a really smooth transformation between all three modes, surprisingly so. But Fans Toys, I think, has been killing a lot of their engineering recently regarding transformation specifically, and this one's no exception. I think they did a great job, and I think the combine mode is solid as a rock. So my personal opinion is if you want this for a Devastator, recommend from me. If you want this for alt mode, pass. If you want this for robot mode, in my opinion, pass. But I already have a very good feeling about the combine mode. Ironically, for Fans Toys because of how long it took them with their other ones. But it feels rock solid. Hope that helps. Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. Until next week.